Hi, everyone. My name is Miss Ray, and welcome to another episode of Inner Harbor Cast. This episode, we are going to be focusing on another incredible organization doing direct impact with our community right here in Central New York. Now, live theater is alive and well right here in Central New York, and one of the region's premier theaters is getting ready for another powerful production. Syracuse Stage is presenting Joe Turner's Come and Gone, a moving story from playwright August Wilson that dives into history, identity, and community. Joining us today and to tell us more about this show and what's coming up with this season and next is artistic director and main spokesperson Bob Hupp. How are you today?
I am great. Thanks for having me
Good,
today.
of course. We're happy to have you. So, like I said, Syracuse Stage is bringing Joe Turner's Come and Gone this March. I believe it's March 11th. Does that sound correct?
That's right.
Wonderful. So for our listeners that may not be familiar with the play, can you kind of tell us about what that story's about?
You bet. So August Wilson, one of the great American playwrights, wrote Joe Come and Gone in 1988. It's set in and he is looking for his wife, and he comes to this boarding house. Beautiful study of human nature. August Wilson chronicles the Black experience throughout the 20th century in his Century Cycle, 10 plays. In my opinion, this one is my favorite. Joe Turner's Come and Gone is my favorite because it's full of mysticism and the power of the poetry of August Wilson's language. I just love this play. It's a true American classic, and this is Syracuse Stage's eighth August Wilson play. And I'm excited that we're able to open it this March.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And then along with Joe Turner's Come and Go, you also have other shows as well. You had A Christmas Story. You just got done with, let me see, I want to make sure, Relentless.
That's right.
You did. You just got done with that. So, how do these shows play into this idea of like a theme for a lineup? You know what I mean? So you're picking these shows that kind of amplify your, at this point, it was 25, 26 season.
Right.
So what is that process of
Right,
picking
sure.
shows?
I'm joined by our associate artistic director, Melissa Crespo, our resident playwright, Kyle Bass. We're charged with picking a season at Syracuse Stage. And we look at what's happening in the world. We look at what new plays are out there, and of course, practical things like what rights are available. But mostly at the end of the day, it comes down to what stories do we think will resonate with Central New York? What stories will entertain, will delight, will challenge, cause us to ask questions. But at the end of the day, we're coming together with strangers or family in a dark theater for a couple of hours, having a common communal experience.
Yeah.
And we think that's a very special thing. So we're looking to find stories, a very diverse array of stories. Because if you look at our season, there's family-friendly musicals and world premieres and everything in between. And that kind of diversity is very important to us too.
Yeah. And then for next season, I know you just announced your
We
26,
literally just
27.
announced it, right?
Yeah. So is there going to be like a little bit of a different tone for upcoming season, or what are some shows that we can look forward to?
Well, there's a lot going on in the
Mhm.
upcoming season. Interestingly, we're leaning into musicals next year. Half the season
Is
are musicals.
just a quick
You
question. Are
bet.
those like something that's like common now? Like, is that
You know,
something that people are like kind of gravitating towards? Is the
you
musicals? Is
know,
that
people generally have gravitated more towards musicals.
sure?
They tend to be more popular.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, if somebody's picking one show to come at Syracuse Stage, they'll probably come see the show we're doing at the holiday time. But we think that musical storytelling is vital.
Hmm.
And so we want to be responsive to the folks who are coming down to stage, but we also want to, be adventurous too. So even in those three musicals, a couple of them are very familiar, Tony Award winning popular musicals. One of them is a very familiar one. And then one is a world premiere. So if you want, I'll go into some of those titles, or we
Sure, go
can,
right ahead. I would love to know.
we're opening the season with Come From Away,
Mhm.
which is again one of my favorite musicals. It's the story of what happened after 9/11 at an Air Force base in Newfoundland, Gander Air Force Base, when all the planes
Interesting.
around the world were grounded. 7,000 strangers were grounded at one small town, and how the community came together
Mhm.
to welcome those strangers and feed them and clothe them and see to their needs. is an inspiring, uplifting story. You know, we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And so
Mhm.
this play will open the week after that. And we believe it's a wonderful way to remember uh, what that meant to our
Sure,
country in
yeah.
so many ways. But Come From Away opens the season, and then we go
Mhm.
right into one of the most popular musicals of all time, and that's Les Mis. You
Yes!
know, I-
Very
I've been
exciting.
trying to get
Classic.
I've been trying to get
Yes.
the rights to Les Mis for 10 years.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward
So
to
you must have felt like this was a victory, to finally be able to
100%.
announce that.
100%.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
and I'm looking forward to directing it. This is,
Mhm.
interestingly enough,
Oh
this is
my
the
gosh,
fifth time I've
congrats.
directed this show. First
Yeah,
time in Syracuse,
yeah.
and so I'm really excited about that.
That's
That's
wonderful.
something that people have seen. I think a lot of folks have seen Les Mis, but
Mhm,
they've seen it in usually a 3,000 seat theater.
mhm.
Come see it in a 500 seat theater. It's an amazing experience.
I'm sure. Um, and then Syracuse Stage has also been a part of our community for a few decades now, quite a few. Why is it important to have theaters like this exist in Central New York?
I think it's essential.
Mhm,
And I think Central New York is fortunate to have a lot of wonderful theaters here in Syracuse and across the region, across the area. It is, if you go back in history, Syracuse is the home of the Schubert brothers,
mhm.
the most significant leaders in theater in America. You know, in terms of you go to Broadway, you're at a Schubert theater, and so I think it's important for Syracuse to continue that tradition. And I think it's important we live in such an isolated world. You know, we're in front of our
Mhm.
computers all day long. We're on our phones. We live, in that kind of isolation. Well, theater is the opposite of that. Theater is the antithesis or the anecdote to that. I think when we come together for live theater, we're
Mhm.
coming together in a space and we're sharing a common experience. And that kind of common experience, I think, is vital to who we are as humans. I think storytelling is essential to who we are as a civilization.
Yeah.
And so I think live theater, really fills an important need in our well-lived lives.
Yeah, I mean, here working in radio, we attest all the time that the experience of live music and
Mhm.
live is just way
Right,
better. It's just a totally different
right,
thing compared to seeing something on
right,
TV. Before we had you over, I we were going through looking at how Les Mis was gonna be on the
right,
2026, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, we've seen the movie,"
right,
but we're
right,
like, "Man, the live experience must is gonna be different," you know what I mean? It's gonna be similar,
right,
but it just touches you and connects with you in a
right.
totally different way than something on the screen.
You know, when you
Absolutely.
go to a movie, and
Mhm,
I love to go to the movies,
mhm.
nothing that you do is gonna change what's happening on that screen. You know, you'll get popcorn, whatever you do, you get up, you go into a different room, come back. It's gonna
Yeah,
be the same. In live theater, the audience is part of the equation. How the audience
interesting.
breathes and reacts
Mhm.
influences the work that's going on stage. And that's a special kind of thing that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So you bring in shows, is that correct,
No, we
too?
create them ourselves. So
Alright,
that's like
perfect.
there are, like the Landmark, for instance, brings
Mhm.
in touring shows,
Yep.
and that they do an amazing job at that. Syracuse Stage creates our own shows.
Okay,
So
so are these local actors,
no, well,
actresses?
we have used local actors. Absolutely, there's an
Mhm,
amazing local actor community here in Central
mhm.
New York. And, we're on the campus of Syracuse University. We partner often with Syracuse University. Most of our actors come from New York. Myself or Melissa will go down and work with the directors. We'll cast the shows
Yeah.
in New York. Those actors will come to Syracuse. We house them in our housing. They rehearse. We build all of the sets. We
Mhm.
create the designs specifically and specially for Central New York. Some of the shows are direct partnerships with the Department of Drama, like Les Mis.
Okay.
And then we have another show later in the season called John Proctor is the Villain.
Mhm.
It was a huge hit with Sadie Sink on Broadway a couple of years ago, and we're going to be producing that, and we'll use drama students in that
Mhm.
production. So we're very fortunate. It's a win-win relationship that we can be,
Absolutely.
there on campus and working in with the Department of Drama,
Yeah.
but that kind of partnership, I think, is a special characteristic of Syracuse Stage.
Sure, and then are there ways maybe behind the scenes? Do you do behind the scenes work, have local people working in
Well,
there?
everybody who works the stage, we have over 50 employees.
Mhm.
They all live here. They're all
Yes.
residents of
Yeah.
Central New York. They've
Yeah.
made Central New York home,
Mhm.
and so they're coming to work day in and day out to create these stories. And we have designers and other folks who come in from all over the country. It's kind of I hope it's the best of both worlds.
But the people that are really making the calls are the ones that deal with the everyday people that would then in
Right.
return be going to the shows,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
That's wonderful. I
Yes.
love to hear that. And then how are ways that you make Syracuse Stage accessible and
Mhm.
welcoming to everybody in the community? You kind of talked about the creative process and
Right.
choosing stories that are correctly
Right.
articulate things and themes that are
Right.
going on. Are there other ways, or is that like a main focus
Well,
that
we want our work to be accessible to everybody. So the
course.
first weekend of production is always pay what you will pricing. You can come in and for $1, you can see any show at Syracuse Stage.
Mhm.
You can always subscribe. The best way to see shows is to be a 3-play subscriber or a 6-play subscriber, and that's what we encourage people to do because it's the most economical way to see the body of work over the course of a year. But we have open captioning, we have sensory-friendly performances, and we do whatever we can to make
Mhm.
sure that folks from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, can access Syracuse Stage and make it a part of their lives. And then we do fun stuff too, like we do trivia night. We do
Yeah.
happy hour. We do a lot of we do community night where different vendors from our community can come in and meet people who are coming to see the show. So
Yeah.
we're very mindful that it's more than just a couple of hours of coming to see a play. We've got to be for everybody, and we've
Mhm.
got to make sure that it's an experience you don't forget.
Right, absolutely. And then is there really anything else that you kind of wanted to share about the work of Syracuse
Right?
Stage, maybe some upcoming events,
Well,
things
I wanna
along
mention two
Sure,
things
go
if I
right
can.
ahead.
After, Joe Turner's Come and Gone,
Yes.
our production after that is Disney's Frozen.
Which is a huge show, gonna be a big
That's
show.
right. That's a
Yes.
family-friendly musical for everybody. We're running for over a month.
Mhm.
So that's a huge way for us to wind up our current season.
Yes.
And we look at musicals. I mentioned earlier that we were doing 3 musicals in our season. The one that we're very excited about will be a year from now. It's called Dust and Shadow: The Unraveling of Sherlock Holmes. This is gonna be a world premiere musical. Some of our most popular plays deal with mysteries.
Mhm.
And this musical, in addition to being an amazing new musical, it is, it's a Sherlock Holmes story. And so that kind of excitement where you have that diverse array of plays. We did a play earlier this year called The Hello Girls that nobody had ever heard of. It was a musical that wasn't brand new, but wasn't a Broadway hit yet. And
Mhm.
we did work of it here, and it was one of the most popular musicals we've ever done. Dust and Shadows fits into that same category. So it's an eclectic array of stories, all woven together by the fact that they're created specifically for Central New York.
Very cool. And then was there anything else that you wanted to add, that second thing? Frozen, and then was there
Well,
anything
the
else?
the the Dust and Shadow was the
Oh, the
second
Destin
thing. Yeah,
part.
the
Okay.
fact that we really try to tell stories that appeal to everybody.
Yes, perfect. I love that. That's wonderful. So thank you again, Bob, for coming in on behalf of Syracuse Stage and sharing more about Joe Turner's Come and Gone and the upcoming shows and the work that you do right here in our community. Be sure to check out the shows. Come support at syracusestage.org to see all the